If there's one investing mistake that quietly destroys more wealth than bad stock picks or market crashes, what would you say it is and why?
Without hesitation, I'd say overconfidence. Not because it's loud, but because it's silent. It disguises itself as intelligence, experience, and certainty. The dangerous part is that most people never notice it happening. Imagine someone who starts investing during a booming market. Their first few investments double. Friends ask for advice, and suddenly they believe they've figured out the market. But here's the truth. They may have been riding a rising tide rather than demonstrating real skill. The market has a way of rewarding confidence in the short term and exposing it in the long term. That's why the psychology of investing is often more important than picking the perfect stock. Every investor eventually faces a choice: protect their ego or protect their portfolio. The two rarely survive together. Our brains are wired to connect success with our own abilities and failure with external events. If we make money, we think we're brilliant. If we lose money, we blame inflation, politicians, interest rates, or bad luck. That's confirmation bias quietly reinforcing a false story about ourselves. Then comes the illusion of knowledge. We watch a few videos, read several articles, follow market news every morning, and suddenly feel certain about tomorrow's prices. Information creates familiarity, but familiarity is not foresight. History reminds us of this again and again. During every major financial bubble, people believed this time is different. Whether it was the dot-com boom, the housing market, or cryptocurrency frenzies, overconfidence convinced ordinary people that risk had disappeared. But markets don't reward certainty, they reward discipline. I often compare investing to driving on a long highway. The most dangerous driver isn't the beginner who stays alert, it's the experienced driver who believes nothing can surprise them. Investors behave the same way. Confidence keeps you moving forward, but overconfidence makes you stop checking your mirrors. One habit separates exceptional investors from average ones: they remain curious. Instead of asking, "Why am I right?" they ask, "What if I'm wrong?" That simple question protects millions in potential losses. It forces humility, encourages research, and keeps emotions from making expensive decisions. Financial intelligence isn't measured by how many winning investments you've made. It's measured by how well you manage uncertainty. Even the greatest investors accept that they cannot predict every market move. They focus on probabilities, diversify wisely, manage risk, and think in decades instead of days. So, if you want to build lasting wealth, don't chase the feeling of being the smartest person in the room. Chase the habit of being the most disciplined. Because in investing, humility compounds just as powerfully as money.
That's a lesson worth remembering. The market doesn't test your confidence, it tests your character. If this conversation made you rethink the way you invest, be sure to like, subscribe, and share it with someone who needs the reminder. And if you're ready to master the psychology behind smarter investing, join us in the next episode. Until then, invest wisely, stay humble, and we'll see you next time.